Soul Bliss Publishing presents VishwaSutras, Gateway to Soul, Success and Spirituality, a musically inspired, life-affirming evening. Please ensure that your mobile phones are switched off or kept on silent mode, so no one, including you, is soulfully disturbed. No audio and video recording is allowed during the entire evening, as it may divert the attention away from the soulful renditions and thought-provoking messages. There will be no break during the entire event. If you are accompanied by your child, please make sure no one is disturbed with his innocence. We request you not to clap during any rendition or segment of the show. So sit back and relax. Soul Bliss Publishing presents VishwaSutras, Gateway to Soul, Success and Spirituality, a musically inspired, life-affirming evening. Enjoy the evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this life-affirming musical event. I am Maithili. VishwaSutras, Gateway to Soul, Success and Spirituality. Success is not a matter of chance, but it is a matter of choice. Success is directly proportional to the degree of realization of purpose of life. The true realization of purpose of life is possible when one is deeply connected with one's soul. Re-establishing the true connection to one's soul needs spiritual awareness and awakening, which begins with a state of thoughtlessness. Music is one of the paths which begins with the state of thoughtlessness, ways that can assist the journey inward. Delicate and soft resonance of santur, a stringed instrument from the valley of Kashmir, brings tranquility to the body and mind. Soothing and tinkling notes of santur rendered by Mr. Dilip Kare will help you gather attention to your inner self and helping you attain the state of meditation. During this walk, Vishwas Chavan will unfold the indelible link between soul, success and spirituality. He will share simple yet powerful tips to inculcate self-love, self-esteem, as well as unlimited, non-expectant love and reverence for others. He will shed light on how to be successful in personal and professional life, yet be spiritual at heart. This discourse is a life-affirming treat for those who are looking for a deeper, more soulful connection to themselves, dreaming to achieve success in all spheres of life, and wish to be happy and spiritual at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure in introducing Dr. Vishwas Chavan and Shri Dilip Kare. Dr. Vishwas Chavan is an author of the best-selling book VishwaSutras, Universal Principles of Living, which briefly presents the principles of success. He is well-known authority in area of information and knowledge management. A keen observer of human behavior, Vishwas is a philosopher, success strategist, and a futurist by nature. His in-depth study of over 100,000 hours, about 11.4 years, on aspect of related to soul, success, and spirituality resulted into a unique 7-week success system, VishwaSutras, Success for Life.
Each time I walk on the streets of Copenhagen, by the way, I lived in Copenhagen for about 7 years. I used to pass by this hotel called Wake Up. And I don't know why, but each time I passed by this hotel, it gave me an alarm bell that I wasn't aware about. I was sleeping on some purpose that wasn't fulfilled. So each time I passed by, I used to wake up. And that's a metaphor that I would like to take up today. That it's time to wake up. We live an extremely mechanical life. We sleep at certain time, we get up at certain time, we dress up, we go to jobs, we come back, go to malls or go to movie, come back, watch some soap operas on the television, and then we sleep. In between, if there are weekends and long weekends, we make planning for half a year where to spend that weekend. So we haven't been awakened, we haven't been awake within our own self. And so I realize that it's time to wake up. And the job that I'm going to do is to shed some light as to why it is necessary to wake up. But before that, let me share something about myself and my life. This is exactly a dream that I had about 40 years back, that you and I, we are destined to meet today. I grew up in an area called Bhimnagar in Mangalore-Pet, which is behind the Juna Bazar area. And so there were public toilets. But as a young kid, you are not allowed to go into the toilet. So my best source of during daytime to go for toilet was a cemetery nearby. And each time I look at those cemetery plaques in the cemetery, I had different thoughts. I said, how soulful these guys are. They are the most peaceful and the blissful entities. And will I be able to let the living ones, that how they can be peaceful and blissful yet successful? So it's about 40 years back during a broad daylight in that cemetery that I dreamt that at one stage in my career or in one stage of my life, I'll take up a job or a profession of an inspirational speaker. So the journey started 40 years back. Subconsciously in my mind, I had forgotten over a period of time. And then suddenly, about 3 years back, there was a wake-up call. Wake up. Where is your dream that has gone to sleep? My upbringing hasn't been very lavish. My father he's a carpenter, he's retired. My mom is a homemaker. And I distinctly remember that in the public toilet, between the two rows of the toilet, there used to be an alley, and at the end of the alley, my mother used to go and wash the clothes. So during monsoon season, the toilets used to be full and overflowing. But then you have to wash the clothes. So I, being the elder in the family, my mom would give me a job that I should take the bucket of clothes, walk through the trenches of human excreta, go to the other end, and then she would come and then she would wash the clothes. When the clothes are washed, I'll take that bucket on my head and walk again back. And then few years back, I saw this movie called Slumdog Millionaire, in which that young Jamal jumps into the pit of a human excreta to get a photograph of one of the famous Bollywood actors. And I could completely relate, because what Jamal was doing was a manifestation of a hope, what I call as slumdog hope. And slumdog hope is unique It's unique because it is ability of the mind to be hopeful in the worst scenarios when a person with a normal emotional strength may crack down or may succumb to the pressures of life. Those who possess this unflinching and undeterred hope are definitely likely to become the slumdog millionaires. And that's what I called slumdog hope. So I grew up with this slumdog hope. While growing up and evolving in my life, unconsciously many people from normal walks of life taught me lessons of success. For instance, my mother was one of the first one, and every child learns these lessons from the mother, naturally. I remember those days my mother used to work on a bridge near Kumbharwada, near Corporation area. And she was pregnant for about 7-8 months. And she used to carry the 20-25 kilo stones for that bridge constructions. And one day she hit another stone. She was bleeding. She didn't stop. I was shouting at her and I asked her, please wait. And she said, yes, I can wait, but it's important that each time you fall down, you rise up one last time. And therefore, each time destiny hit you hard, it's important that we rise up one last time. And that one last time is important. And those words of my mother always give me an alarm bell, make me to wake up and stand up each time I had a setback in my own life. Because everybody wants to be successful. I haven't seen a person who does not want to do better, who does not wish to be successful. However, often we don't realize what is a success. And we shall come to that idea of defining success. But let me begin by saying that there is an indelible link between your soul, your success, and your spiritual understanding, or a peace that you get through the spiritual understanding. And there is a greater urgency in today's world to understand that indelible link between soul, success, and spirituality. Because I strongly believe, as I was preparing for this lecture this morning, I strongly felt that success is intrinsically linked to one's state of soul, one's depth of understanding of spirituality, and your commitment to walk on the path of spirituality. And often, in our quest to be successful, we lack that commitment to walk on the path of spirituality. We have been using the word Atma or soul umpteen number of times. What is that soul or Atma? One of the success gurus that I keenly follow is Deepak Chopra. And Deepak defines that soul is nothing but your consciousness. And it is a ground of your very being. The soul is your foundation. The foundation that determines how high-rise your building of success could be. Consciousness is a state of awareness, a state of being present in that moment. And what usually happens that we brood on our past rather than being in the present moment. And soul is exactly that being present, being aware of your internal state and the objects that are around you externally. That is the soul. But soul is a form of energy. There is a personal soul, what we call as jiva, and there is an external soul, what is called as atma. Jiva is you, the physical being. Your so-called atma is outside of you. He is watching you. And often we are disconnected with that atma. As a consequence, we have become a mechanical machine. But there is a strong linkages and connection between this jiva, atma, and a universal soul called Brahman. And since we are not connected from our physical being to our external soul called Atma, there is no connection whatsoever with a universal soul called Brahman. And therefore, it is important that we re-establish this connection. And those who have been re-established this connection, you will find them, those are the individuals who are extremely successful. They are bestowed with most of the rewards, the praise, the fame, and they are the one who have been wealthier in all forms of the wealth. And we'll talk about what are those different forms of the wealth. So if so-called God is that universal soul, and we do have the minuscule manifestation of that in the form of Jiva, I strongly believe that we are God, or we are the manifestation of God. And often we look for the God in a physical object. We look for the God in someone else. But in true sense, we ourselves are the beautiful manifestation of the godly values. To me, those godly values are the form and the presence of the God. Because God is your soul at its purest. Purest the soul, godliest is the person. So to me, God is your soul at its purest. God is truth as well, and because anything that is pure is the truth. And therefore it is important that we know ourselves as to who we truly are. In order to know ourselves who we truly are, who should be the most important person in our life? Not your wife, not your parents, not your wife, not your kids, but the most important person in our life should be we, the I. And I'm not saying this with a sense of arrogance, but I'm saying this with a sense of humbleness and submission to the godly values and the truthfulness that possess within me. Because we are the manifestation of godly values. And if you have love within you, then there will be abundance of success and love. No doubt about it. However, we often forget that love is something within us. We look for love outside of us. So we need to focus on our own self-worthiness. Are we worthy of receiving love? Are we worthy of loving ourselves? And moment you realize that you are worthy of that love, the immense love will blossom